anger stemmed from this situation. Upon returning from my first deployment to Saudi Arabia in March 2002, I began to act violently toward my family, friends, and even myself. I found myself waking up in the middle of the night with cold sweats, and I would randomly break down, crying uncontrollably, and blame and question myself on how or why I had handled the life-threatening situations I had found myself in overseas. 8 years later, I would come to understand that these were all symptoms of post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, and depression, which I was eventually diagnosed with. However, my life would get much worse before it would improve. It was around this time that I adopted a young pit bull mix from a rescue in Hampton Roads, Virginia. I named her Cheyenne, and I hoped having her would add some purpose to my life. One afternoon in 2002, I finally hit rock bottom on the bedroom floor of my apartment. I sat, legs folded, ready to finish the fight with the demons that had followed me back from the war zone and had been a constant torment. The sudden rages, the punched walls, the profanities tossed at anyone who tried to help me. There was nothing in my room other than dirty military uniforms, some empty bottles of alcohol, and a crushing despair. I took a deep breath. I shut my eyes and tightly closed my lips around the cool steel of my .45 caliber pistol, the same pistol my father bestowed upon me after my completion of military technical training, the pistol my father was issued for his 1966 training in the U.S. Army's Ranger School. And then something licked my ear. I looked around and locked eyes with Cheyenne. With her head cocked to one side, she looked at me as only a dog can, with her big brown eyes full of devotion, as if to say, "What are you doing? Who's going to take care of me? Who else is going to let me sleep in your bed?" For a long minute, I stared into the puzzled face of my 6-month-old pit bull. And then, slowly, reluctantly, I backed the barrel of my .45 caliber pistol out of my mouth. There is no doubt about it. I owe Cheyenne my life. Immediately, I felt so relieved, like a 10,000-pound weight had been lifted off my chest. Soon after, my family and friends noticed a significant change in my behavior, a reduced number of outbursts, a better attitude, and no more attempts at my life, all because of this little pit bull puppy. Cheyenne's heroics were her unconditional love and devotion to me, a devotion and love that most pet owners can attest to. Devotion that Stubby had his entire life for his best friend and for the soldiers he went to war with. It's interesting that a torn-eared puppy from a shabby animal rescue saved me, not my father or my grandfather or my friend who endured the same scars of combat while serving alongside me. Cheyenne was the force who pulled me back into society. I couldn't talk to anybody, not my father, not the counselors, but I could talk to my dog, and she never judged me. 8 years later, my father said to me, "You're a different person now. All that stuff was taking over your life, son. That dog just listened to you for hours." Until Cheyenne, I had suffered in silence. In January 2010, with the help of a friend, I walked into the Washington, D.C. Veterans Affairs Hospital for the first time to seek additional help in my life. The process to diagnose my PTSD and depression was a very frustrating and time-intensive gauntlet. However, it was worth it. There was some fear about speaking to a person about my military service for the first time, and I was somewhat apprehensive. But Cheyenne helped me become an extrovert, and so telling another person or persons proved to not be as difficult as I thought it would be. When man and dog can stare death in the face, like Cheyenne and I did, like Stubby and the soldiers of World War I did, and forge on with their lives and their duty to their country, that is the true testament to the bond we share with these animals. 1 year later, I married Jenny Fritcher, an Air Force staff sergeant stationed at Ramstein Air Base in Germany. My wife is now months away from graduating with a bachelor's degree in nursing.